everyone out there watching. I am Trisha Sardo, accompanied by Amelia Murphy. We are here at Joseph F. Facina Field. Apologies for the technical difficulties that we had a little bit earlier. You are joining us right now with 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the first quarter. New York Empire up 5-4 against the Ottawa Outlaws. We've had a pretty evenly matched game thus far. A little bit of a messy start, but both teams offensively have found their rhythm. And so we're going to jump right in with some play-by-play for you all. Ellis with the disc, up to Arseno. Arseno looking downfield. Goes with the reset, over back to Ellis. Ooh, little bit of air underneath that. Katz comes down with it, Empire. Over to Matt Lamar, number 12. Ben Katz with the disc. Up to Weintraub. Weintraub with a big backhand out into space. Over to Auletta. That is CJ Auletta's first Empire goal of the season, making it 6-4 New York Empire versus Ottawa Outlaws.
That's Maddie Weintraub's second assist of the game.
So Amelia, can you tell our viewers a little bit about what they missed in this first quarter thus far?
Sure. It is a beautiful sunny day here at Joseph F. Facina Field in New Rochelle, New York. The beginning of the game was a little slow, I think, on both sides, particularly on the New York Empire. We have some major offensive players missing here tonight. We have Jeff Babbitt, Ben Yott, injured.
And Bo Kittredge
is
also out, yes.
And so as an offensive line, that's some big players that they're going to miss today. So it's been a little bit of work to see them trying to figure out how other players can step up. But obviously the scoreboard does not lie, and they figured out something.
Yeah, definitely. So Ottawa with the disc with 30 seconds left to go, looking to score, trying to make it a little bit of a closer game. Boucher with the disc right now. Goes inside, and Alexander cannot bring it down. New York Empire with a break opportunity with about 15 seconds left to go. Drost with the disc. Back over to Lamar. Lamar inside to Alati. Alati resets to Drost. Drost keeps going. 3, 2, needs to shoot it here. Ryan Drost puts it up. And Stanton and Brownlee cannot come down with it. Drost with a big hammer, trying to get that score in before the buzzer, and just can't bring it down.
For the viewers at home who haven't been following the AUDL, this past week, Ottawa came off a big win.
Yes,
at home, they beat Philly 30-18. So that's a nice win to kind of have at your back. They did travel 7 hours by bus to get here today and are playing a game tomorrow, but that's just kind of some things you should keep in the back of your mind when you're feeling and you want to hear the spirits of the different teams. New York Empire last week had a loss down in D.C.
Yes, they had a pretty bad loss last week by about 10 points to D.C., and so I know that they've been working on that this week. They added an additional practice this week to work on some of their offensive flow. We spoke with assistant coach Isaiah Bryant before the game, and he was telling us, similar, Amelia, to what you were saying, that some of these other players are going to have to step up on the New York Empire. Jabron Meeser, number 66. Lexi Zock started on offense for the New York Empire tonight. She had a big game with them in her first game, threw both an assist and caught a goal.
Yeah, it was
fantastic.
Great.
Buzzer beater, one at the buzzer. But we also have the defense. Defense wins games, and they're going to need to step up here and get a lot of breaks for them. And thus far, New York only has one break thus far tonight. The offense is looking a lot smoother and has been scoring.
Yeah, and they've been earning their blocks as well. For the viewers who didn't see the live stream, New York has already had 3 blocks in the game so far, which is a large number with only 10 points played.
Yeah, I think they've actually had 4 blocks.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
They've had 4 blocks thus far. And Ottawa has not had that many. All of New York's turns were miscommunications, and so if they can just tighten that up, make it a little bit cleaner, New York is going to be really good. And I know that your scoreboard as a viewer is off right now, but the score is 6-4 New York Empire. So Empire with up 2 as we get started to move into the second quarter. The last time New York Empire and Ottawa played here, and that was the last time that they played, period, New York won 28-16. So
that's a handed win. That's a clean W. So I'm sure New York is looking to duplicate that here tonight, and we'll see if they can put the pieces together and deliver.
Yeah, definitely. And it is a beautiful night. There were some showers earlier as both teams were warming up. The skies just kind of opened up, and it was pouring. But both teams continued to warm up. But it's really clear here now. It's a beautiful night. There's not. Just check the flag for any wind. There's currently no wind at all. The flag is completely still, so you can see that over by the field goal booth. All right, New York Empire out here on defense. Alexander with the disc. Looks like Ottawa is running a horizontal stack. Alice currently with the disc. Woo! Mike Drost with a poach D, tried for it, just missed. Alice back with the disc. Alexander with the disc. Drost falling over. Alexander puts up a big throw, and let's see, who is that? That is Keenan who brings it down. So Alexander, number 10, with his second assist of the game, and that is Keenan's first goal of the game.
That was nice pressure by New York offense, though. Mike Drost with the almost poach D there we saw, and then
Ryan Drost, really overselling there. Slippery. As I mentioned, there was a little bit of rain earlier, so the field is wet. But it is all clear now. But we will probably see some of these players slipping a little bit on the field, as we just saw on Drost.
It's also something to note with the disc as well. When the disc turns and touches the ground, it will be wet when the person picks it up. Mm-hmm. And with the force primarily being a flick force, that can have some difference.
Yes, definitely. And that's why right now on the offensive line, you see 3 out of the 7 New York Empire players wearing gloves, because they, especially after a little bit of rain. Garvey with the disc up to Klein. Klein with the flick up to Meeser. Meeser looking for the reset, goes back to Garvey. New York Empire looking a little messy right now, trying to work on their timing, some of their resets.
Nice grab by Matt Cat-Stevens to keep the disc in play.
Up to Klein, who resets quick to Garvey. Some nice quick movement. Zock up to Izek, who puts up a round backhand. Easy score for New York Empire. I think every player on the New York Empire touched the disc on that one. That was Izek up to Meeser, number 66 for the New York Empire.
That's Izek's second assist of the game and Meeser's second goal of the game. And as you were saying, Tricia, that offense had a little trouble starting. They lacked initiation, but the handlers were calm, cool, and collected and did what every coach and teammates want to see their offense do on the field, which is swing it and wait for that easy reset. And then, as you said, they had every single player on the offense touch the disc. They were moving, they were throwing to the open player, and then Izek with that beautiful dime, that buttery throw to Meeser for a score.
Buttery smooth throw. What I also liked about that offensive flow there was that they started on the far sideline and they made their way with those quick passes all the way through the middle until Izek saw that he had Meeser wide open for that goal. So Ottawa back on offense. Alexander with the disc. Up right now to Ochterlony, who puts up a big inside-out flick. Huck, Ben Spielman on the mark.
Great box out by Ben Spielman there.
Definitely. Great pressure by Ben Spielman, number 35 for the New York Empire. This is Spielman's second game with the New York Empire, coming off of an injury. Doesn't look injured there. He's now on the offensive flow. Big bid by Ottawa, but Spielman closes. Brownlee with the disc. Looking for a reset. Has Lamar, chooses to go over to Alati, centering the disc. Stanton now on the other sideline. calling for it. Brownlee end zone, totally alone in the end zone. TJ Stanton to Marquez Brownlee. That's Brownlee's first goal of this game.
TJ Stanton's first assist of this game. What's interesting, which we also saw 2 weeks ago with New York's home game, is that the New York offense has really diversified who is scoring. And it's much harder for the Ottawa defense to shut down the score. Right now we have six different Empire players counting for the 8 scores, which again shows both great coaching from Coach Eileen Murray for choosing the players who are on the team, on the roster, making sure that they had the diverse set of people to play. But second, also showing the depth of the offense and that they're not relying on just 1 or 2 players, that they're working up the field and they're having different throwers looking at every single person out there.
Yeah, definitely. And knowing that Yacht, Bo, and Babbitt were all going to be out in this game after getting injured in the game against DC last week, they worked on fitting those pieces in at the extra practices they had, and that's really showing right now. Boucher with the disc on Ottawa, slices to the inside, up to Wasseau. Wasseau to Ellis. New York Empire defense trying to play a little bit of catch-up here. It seems like Ottawa is just slicing throws up the middle. Wasseau back with the disc about 7 yards outside the goal line, up to Alexander. Alexander with a little scoober over to Boucher for the goal.
That was uncharacteristic of the New York defense there. Normally, we've seen some fire from the New York defense.
Yes.
And that's, again, as we were saying before, they've had 4 blocks already this game, and they just looked a little bit behind there. They looked 1 or 2 steps behind.
I'm sure that they're going to bring that fire. It's currently...
Oh, definitely. It's bottled up somewhere. They're going to open it
They just
up.
have to uncap it. Yeah, they're waiting a little bit. Maybe it's decanting right now. The Empire is up 8-6 right now with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second. And Ottawa's really, they're going to have to get some breaks to get back into this game because the New York Empire's offense is looking pretty smooth right now. So here we go with a big pull from Bevan. We have Garvey, Auletta, Zock, Meeser, Klein, a lot of these big players that are going to have to step up tonight with Babbitt, Bo, and Yacht out. Back in their own end zone, Garvey coming up with the disc. Oloro trying to move it up with Garvey, trying to get themselves outside of their end zone. Ooh. They were trying to fit into some tight windows there. Klein coming up the sideline on that same third, and it was just too tight of a window.
No surprise there. New York looking like they wanted to see a ho-stack offense, but the spacing was just too tight. And like you said, Trisha, made it easy for the defense.
Upline cut on Lexi Zock and an easy score for Ottawa Outlaws. Maybe they heard me.
Yeah.
I think they heard me that they needed to get that break.
Yeah. That was an interesting look from the New York offense. We've seen them do spread a lot. Ho, not as much so far this season. Again, a ho stack for viewers at home.
Horizontal stack.
It's a horizontal stack, which means you have primarily four cutters downfield. So you have 4 of the offensive cutters spreading themselves, moving across, using the width of the field that we have here. Again, that is much wider than a normal Ultimate Frisbee field.
In USA Ultimate.
Ultimate. And here in that last point, New York Empire looked squished. They were not using the full length of the field. They were cutting each other off, making it much easier for a defender to mark that smaller space if you're not asking them to move in a wider space, in which case a defender can poach and then get that deep.
Yes, definitely. So New York Empire back on offense. Garvey receiving the pull. Quick dish over to Oloro. Oloro with an outside backhand into Meeser. Katz going deep. Meeser thinks about it. Holsters back over to Oloro. Oloro has Brownlee on the other sideline. Klein looks deep. Brownlee looks him off and chooses Katz instead in the center. Has Meeser slicing across. And let's see, who is that? Renault on Ottawa just steps in for an easy poach D there in the inside, trying to fit it into like little tight windows. So now the New York Empire's offense is on defense. Whoop, and we have a stall
call.
Stall
of the game.
There was a stall earlier that the New York Empire, as a full team, helped.
D,
it was definitely a team D earlier in the first quarter, helped force, and so now we have a second one here. Big throw by Harper Garvey to Connor Klein, number 10, who just quite can't get there. But a nice throw from Harper Garvey. He has all of the throws.
Connor Klein was asking for that cut earlier.
He was.
New York
off. And a quick turn by Ottawa. Brownlee picks up the disc to start the offense. Garvey with it once again. I know this New York Empire offense wants to quickly score and get off the field. This is their second point back-to-back. Katz with the disc. Puts up a big throw to Meeser just outside the end zone. Meeser with a little dish, this time connecting with Klein, putting New York Empire up 9-7.
That was Meeser's first assist of the game and Connor Klein's first goal.
So the Ottawa Outlaw just had a little bit of miscommunication. Them themselves tried to fit it into some tight windows, giving the New York Empire a gift and letting them have another chance at it. And this time they did not turn it over.
An interesting thing to note on the New York offense so far is that they've really been conservative. They had a few deep looks there. We had Ben Katz, who was open going deep. We had Connor Klein before the turn that was also going deep. Both of those looks were looked off, and they were trying to work it downfield in the unders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Me too, but
if I was a part of the coaching staff,
it's just it's an interesting look. We don't see them as conservative.
No,
a lot of the times, and maybe that is because, like you said before, they're missing Yacht and Bo and Babbitt, those players who are deep threats.
Yes, definitely, and the Empire can usually just put it up there, with some more aggressive throws. We have Alice with the disc with Drost on the mark, looking for something. Alexander inside, up to Wasso. Wasso on the far sideline. Ring with the disc, goes with a little hammer over the top, up to Alexander. Alexander to Arseno. Oops, excuse me, to Keenan. Keenan slices up to Alexander and puts a flat backhand out into the middle, and Drost sees it, runs it down. That is Ryan Drost's first block of the game. He is currently leading New York Empire in blocks. He's one of our players to watch of tonight. Price with the disc. Looking for some options. New York Empire trying to figure it out. Spielman at center field. Back to Lamar. Keeps it going over to Mike Drost. Up to Maddie Weintraub. Looks off the throw to Jake Price and instead resets up to Drost, who puts it up to Woo.
Holmes can just not get there, just out of the
There's
tips
a little
of the
bit of
fingers.
mustard on that throw from Drost, a little bit of an inside out, and it might be wet. He is wearing gloves though. So.
He is. New York's just got to earn that D again.
Yes, and this is their New York's defensive line, so they should be able to do that. Spielman on the D. We have Keenan with the disc with a big inside-out flick. Ryan Drost and Lamar both there. Ryan Drost brings it down with his second block of this point. Looking for the reset. Goes with a big throw over to Price. Up to Mike Drost. And it looks like we have a timeout call by the New York Empire. The New York Empire wants to bring their offensive line out there onto the field.
So, yes, Tricia, it seems like you were also about to say this, but to remind the viewers at home who have not watched many AUDL games, unlike in USAU Ultimate, here in AUDL you're allowed to substitute your players on any timeout.
The entire line.
The entire line. So that is a huge thing to use. And that is
That's
such a
very
powerful strategic choice. And here, as you were saying before, They've already earned 2 Ds. Defense has
They
already
did.
earned 2 Ds, so they're tired and they're working, but their offense did not look clean. So again, it was a very smart call by Coach Murray and her
Yes,
staff
definitely.
to call a timeout, substitute in some fresh legs.
Well, and you have 2 timeouts per half in the New York Empire, or in the AUDL, excuse me. And we only have 5 minutes left in this half. So if there's a time to use it, you're going to lose it anyway. And so
Yeah, why not?
I would have called that timeout anyway, even if it wasn't 5 minutes left in the game or in the quarter and a half. Blah 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 blah. But it was a very strategic call by the New York Empire, and it looks like we have Garvey and Klein and Zock, Katz, Meeser, and Aloro out there. Their true offensive line back out for the point. They took everyone out and replaced them.
It looks like the starting offensive line of the game.
It does. Yes, I think it is exactly. Ottawa also made some substitutions, and they're going to start off with a double team on Garvey. Ooh, just a little bit too much outside from Garvey to Aloro.
New York setting up an avert stack there, also identifying their problems with their host stack, hopefully.
Yes. Bevan with the disc. Bevan with the disc. A little bit of a question on where exactly to bring it in. So now the New York's offensive line that they just brought in has to play defense. They choose a wide swing. Keeping going, and a big huck, number 11, with 2 New York defenders, puts it up to Boucher. That was a throw, O'Brien's first assist of the game, and Boucher's second goal of the game.
New York Empire offense, jogging it back to the line. It's what you got to do with your head up, right? You're excited to play Ultimate. You got to. Some of the best Ultimate players I've ever known have short memories. If you turn it as an offensive player, that's going to happen. It's bound to happen if you touch the disc. What the important thing to do is forget about it. That next point, you have to be solid, you have to be confident, and you have to go with your head up high, your cleats on tight, and ready.
Yep, it's how you come back and recover after those turnovers that really separate players.
Good players from great players.
Good players from great players.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we have that exact same line out here, getting ready for the pull from Ottawa Outlaws.
A nice pull.
Nice pull by Ottawa. Pippin picking up the disc, going up to Aloro. Aloro to Klein on the far sideline, looking for a reset. In Ultimate Frisbee, you can move the disc forward and backwards, just like in soccer. Woo, nice throw by Garvey to Zalk. The big yardage gain, resets to Stevens. Stevens getting double teamed, leaving Garvey open. Garvey has Meeser, chooses Pippin over on the far sideline, up to Aloro. Aloro has Meeser. Meeser with a big outside in. Oh, and Mensa just is there inside of the pathway. Not enough air underneath that one.
New York Empire's offensive horizontal stack looked a little, or vert stack, looked a little far.
It did. It did look a little far. And they had a lot of big throws that, they have those throws for the yardage.
Yeah.
But they just didn't have the spacing. So big throw up.
Wow.
Jabron Meeser.
Putting on his wheels. He got into a different gear there.
He did.
Ottawa player had no chance on that disc.
No, he didn't. The New York Empire sideline really enjoyed that one.
I enjoyed that one. That was fantastic. Having some Krispy Kreme donuts and just running fast.
Ooh. Big pressure by Ottawa, forcing the turn right there on New York's goal line, and a quick score.
Looks like Garvey's looking for a foul there, maybe a touch over the shoulder.
He was looking for the foul, but the referees are able to make active calls, and they decided that was not a foul. So play resumed, and they were right there on on their own goal line, and so they just quickly were able to run it up and score while everyone else was trying to recover. That makes it a tied game.
It's a tie game. And
9-9.
as you were saying before, Tricia, one important thing for viewers to note here is that in the AUDL, unlike in USAU, refs make active calls. In the USAU, you do have the players making those calls. So if Harper Garvey believed that was a foul, he could actively call that call. But here he does not have that power.
Right. And play plays on. So we have a tied game with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second quarter. New York Empire receiving the disc. It looks like they have quite a number of their defensive players out there. Brownlee cutting deep over to Katz. Katz slices up to Spielman, who puts up a high backhand to Ryan Drost. Ryan Drost, with not many options downfield, goes back over to Katz, who then finds Weintraub. Weintraub back to Katz, up to Drost, over there on the sideline, back to Katz. Katz keeps it going with Weintraub. These three are just trying to find some space, waiting for the New York Empire downfield players to really get some separation from them, because they're not really finding it. Spielman with the disc on the sideline. Little inside backhand to Weintraub, who puts it around throw to Matt Lamar, number 12. And the referees are calling it out of bounds. So that score does not count. And Boucher for Ottawa runs the disc up and unleashes a huge backhand. Ben Spielman looking up for where it's at. Couldn't quite get there. Number 61, O'Donnell, with the assist. And there is a call. There's a travel call on O'Donnell. So that is a yardage penalty. O'Donnell will move the disc back, but will continue to have possession. The clock starts once the first throw is made. It's a little inside to Boucher in the corner, just about 2 yards outside of the end zone, and calls a timeout for Ottawa.
New York Empire had some great defense there on the end zone line. You had Mike Drost moving away from his man, also having other players kind of filling the space, seeing almost a zony, poachy look there.
Right.
Moving away from person defense and having a double team even at the end of the stall on the end zone line. Something you don't necessarily see.
This is a big point for the Ottawa Outlaws. The score is currently 9-9 with 50 seconds left in the game. And this would be a break opportunity for Ottawa. Right now, the New York received the disc at the start of this point, and they had a lot of their defensive players out there. They're going to, be happy that they are out there right now, because they're going to need a big stop here.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Ottawa subbed out some players.
This is a great time for us to take the opportunity to thank our sponsors here to help us make a wonderful experience for us fans and the players. We'd like to thank Discraft, Chubb Insurance, Match Fit Performance, Rye Ford Subaru, and of course the Ice Cold Drummers.
The Ice Cold Drummers are here at the game. If you have not been out here to Joseph F. Facina Field in New Rochelle, we highly encourage you. It's a beautiful stadium, really fun. All of the proceeds from the concession stand go back to the town of New Rochelle. And the Ice Cold Drummers are drumming up some fun beats for everyone to listen to here. They were chanting defense earlier.
I'm sure the viewers at home can hear the New York crowd.
Disc in, and a quick and easy score for Ottawa Outlaws.
I'm sure the New York Empire is quite happy that was quick, though, to be fair. If you're going to score, at least score quick. They have a little bit more time to use, a little bit more time to slowly move their offense down the field, maybe get one more in before half to bring it to 10-10.
I guess if you had to score.
If you have to score, score quickly.
for New York.
Obviously not ideal.
Right.
But
so we have New York's offensive line coming back out. We have 46 seconds left in the game, and Ottawa has their first lead of the game, 10-9. I think at this point in the game is when we're starting to see how New York Empire's offense is missing Yacht and Bo and some of those other big playmakers for them. Garvey with the disc up to Meeser, who goes up the ladder and brings it down. And Mensah with a sliding D across on that throw up to Klein. Ottawa with another opportunity to break here with 25 seconds left in the game. Oh, and just bobbles the disc.
Looks like Aletta maybe had a hand in there as well.
Alora with a throw through two defenders up to Meeser. Meeser keeps it going over to Alora. Alora with a big hammer up. You have Klein in the area, who comes down with it.
Connor Klein's second goal of this evening.
And that was
Josh Aloro's first assist.
That was Josh Aloro's first assist. So New York Empire able to hold on and take the lead back 11-10 with...
It's 10-10.
10-10, excuse me. 10-10 with 6 seconds left in the game. So what a nice catch from Connor Klein there, going up one hand.
I was going to say a bold teacup catch there by Connor Klein in the end zone for the 10-10 score.
Right.
That was coming in hot too. That was a fast moving.
Fast and high. It was almost a blade.
It was almost a blade.
Which I can tell you, if you have not caught a blade coming down at you from that angle,
it's
a little intimidating. It can be intimidating.
Yeah.
So Ottawa with 6 seconds.
New York with a short pull.
Trying to get that down there on defense. We have 3 with a big throw up from Wazo. Time expiring. Lots of New York defenders in the area. Brownlee with the D.
Brownlee's first D of this half.
That is Brownlee's first D of the half. And that brings us to halftime at 10-10. What a game we've had thus far.
It was exciting. I think, at least from a spectator's point of view, it's wonderful to see a game where points are transferred back and forth. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting, and I'm curious to know what each team is talking about during halftime. Mm-hmm. I know that New York will probably look at how to clean up their offense, how to give more space. Mm-hmm. Ottawa looking again to convert.
Yeah, definitely.
They're not really getting as many Ds as New York is. New York is almost giving them the chance, but
opportunities,
yes. But Ottawa again using those opportunities that New York is giving them and scoring.
Yes, definitely. And we're going to need to see New York Empire get some more blocks on defense. Defense wins games.
Offense sells tickets, defense wins games.
So we are going to take a little break right now during the half, but we will be back for the third quarter and more New York Empire Ottawa Outlaws game. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Early recognition is critical. Teaches middle school PE classes about ultimate frisbee and cancer symptom awareness.
We're a registered nonprofit that advocates for an active, healthy lifestyle, body awareness, and speaking up if something is wrong.
Skills that, when it comes to cancer, can help save a life. Ultimate is a fast-paced team sport that's self-refereed, non-contact, and co-ed.
Spirit of the game is the foundation of Ultimate. That means we communicate respectfully, we're fair-minded, and we enjoy the game.
Ultimate is accessible to everyone. All you need is a frisbee and some friends. Our team of coaches is made up of experienced and passionate leaders from the Ultimate community.
We teach kids that playing fair is more important than winning.
We can come to your middle school and run your PE classes for the day. And if we're not in your area yet, we'll send you our clinic in a box, where we give you the resources to run your own.
Ultimate Frisbee is one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
Teachers and parents love Ultimate Frisbee.
We are Eric!
And we want to work with you and your school.
say hello to the no braid. A-Cat monks, the hoes, hoe like hoes hate. KY low up the low slave. Dealing with an MC, now don't use that term low slave. J Records prefers the shepherds that low shit. Many others ain't believe, guess they'll soon see. Mainstream in the fuss like nobody want us. Dropped 2 albums before I even got warmed up. Lay a short bet on the shore enough. Them versus us was getting tossed up, far from a toss up. I've been found but was lost when Lauren dropped lost ones. Shout out to the forefathers, this here's 4 sons. Cats rap like before, I'm after the false fronts. Welcome to the backlash, peace from the forefront. Some people do rap for hip hop, but really not hip hop. Chris Rock, so listen to this, while cocking your flint like money, your lips like money, I'm sorry.
Ultimate Frisbee? Yeah, you play that with dogs, right?
Excuse me?
Is it a sport, or is it an adjective, or what? I mean, what are we talking about here? What's so ultimate about it?
You can call it Ultimate Disc if you want.
Jeff, 2 words, foot and ball. Frankie, it's me. I got a guy for your arena football league. He's big, he's ruthless. He'll leave a quarterback toothless. 15 grand, you can have him.
With the layout score.
Nah, man, I'm good with Ultimate.
Play more Ultimate. The AUDL.
outside of the goal line. New York Empire needs to be patient here. So he chooses a reset to Drost, still on the sideline about 5 yards out, and puts it inside to Maddie Weintraub.
Maddie Weintraub's first goal of the game, and Mike Drost's first assist.
That first assist. The goals and assists are all across the board here for the New York Empire.
And so are the blocks. I mean,
so are the blocks.
It looks as if almost every person on the Empire roster has either contributed an assist, a goal, or a block tonight.
Yes. Yes, actually.
Yeah, it's quite diverse.
So Amelia and I were just speaking during the halftime, and Amelia, why don't you share, what do you think the New York Empire needs to do in order to pull away with this game?
Yeah, we were discussing the offense particularly. I think that as an offensive player...
Let me just make one correction before you continue,
Sure.
Amelia. The scoreboard right now for you viewers at home is reversed. What a key block. All right, so New York Empire with the disc. Lexi Zalk with just a sick defensive play in the end zone on one of the Ottawa Outlaw players. She now has the disc on the sideline, goes up over the top with an outside in. Connor Klein with a big backhand that floats out to Matt Auletta, who tries to climb the ladder but can't quite get up high enough. A little bit of a trip, but Boucher with the disc. A double team here by New York Empire. Back to Boucher with the disc. Trying to find some space here. Boucher again with an outside in backhand up to Mensah for the score. Easy score for Ottawa Outlaws after that throw that was just a little bit hung a little too long for Auletta to be able to actually go up there and get it. And Auletta has fantastic ups and height and jumps, but
his defender was also a head taller.
He was.
The height, you can't coach height. You can jump as high as you can, and he, as you were saying, Trisha, he does have an extreme vertical game.
Yes, he does.
But if it's a hedge higher than you to start with, it's a lot of ground to make up.
And Connor Klein with that big throw. Auletta did have some yards on his defender, but that throw from Connor Klein hung up there, and he just wasn't able to run it down. And then Boucher taking over on the Ottawa Outlaws, is working it up and was able to. I mean, Boucher steered the ship on that one. Was every other throw for an easy score for Ottawa. So we have the score 15-13 right now. New York Empire up with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game. New York Empire receiving the disc. We have Weintraub, quick throw up to Drost. You can see New York Empire has some of their typically defensive players out. Weintraub
muscling his way into that.
Hustling his way. Little reset over to Katz. Oop. And there was a call. A penalty on Ottawa Outlaws, so Katz will be able to move the disc up 10 yards. So that gives the New York Empire a chance to reset. They do not have to stop on penalties. In the AUDL, you can continue to move. Brownlee with the disc throws inside to Lamar with a little inside out. Woo!
Wow!
And Lamar to Ryan Drost. Ryan Drost making a spectacular one-handed grab. It looked like there was a little bit of a miscommunication there. Lamar thought Ryan Drost was making that inside. Drost was just pumping there, but then once Lamar unleashed it, Drost went out and made a big play. Drost out there on offense.
Yeah, Ryan Drost's second goal of the game, and Matt Lamar's first assist of the game.
First assist of the game.
Again, every Empire player almost having an assist, goal, and a block.
Yes, there's only one player that does not have an assist, goal, or block, and that's Harper Garvey.
Surprising. Extremely surprising.
Extremely surprising. However, Harper also on offense touches the disc on almost every other throw.
Yeah.
So, just because he doesn't have a tally in one of these three columns does not diminish his role on the field of really steering the offensive ship. So Outlaws back on offense. We have Wasso with the disc. Looking for a reset. Lamar shutting it down. Ryan Drost there on his other brother Wasso. Ooh,
TJ hitting the ground there.
Trying to make a big play. Alexander with a hammer over the top. No surprise there. To Ellis. Ellis a few yards outside of the end zone with a nice low release backhand that made its way. Again, another buttery smooth throw.
I mean, it gave Alati a little bit of time. It hung in the air at the end there. It was nicely placed, but New York had a play on the disc.
Yes,
it was a little dangerous.
Alati did have a play on the disc, just couldn't quite get there. There was a lot of movement on that disc from Ellis. He released it low, and then it rose up with a little bit of an outside in up to. Did not catch who scored that goal for Ottawa, but a lot of movement there, which makes it harder as a defender to predict. If it's just a flat backhand, and you lay out for it, you know exactly where it's going to go. But really nice movement from Ottawa there.
Again, it's a beautiful night here on Joseph F. Facina Field. The flags are not flying in the wind. It is a standing wind night, making those hammer throws and those lofty throws more viable for all the teams.
Yes, definitely thick air. So we have New York Empire back out on offense. Alora with the disc up to Ben Katz. Katz goes inside to Meeser. You can see Ottawa throwing a double team. Meeser finds the inside to Stevens. Woo! And a big throw out to Marquez Brownlee, who was just standing there all alone. That was Alexander Izik with his first assist of the game, or second assist of the game.
Third assist
of the game. And Marquez Brownlee was standing in the back of the end zone calling for it. You know, when you're all alone like that and you have a team full of talented throwers, Izik just put it out there. Brownlee didn't even move.
It looked like Brownlee's defender was drawn away by a quick cut by Matt Lamar to the right-hand side, the open side. And, again, great threading the needle by Izik to find the hole and find Brownlee, who was open for his third goal of the game.
Yes, definitely. So that makes it 17-14, Ottawa Outlaws and New York Empire, with 3 minutes left to go in the third. Ottawa back with the disc, up to Ellis. We have Ryan Drost on the mark once again, up to Wasso. Wasso fakes up line, chooses a scoober back over to Ellis, who nice one-handed grab. Keeps the disc moving. That's Ring over up to Wasso. Another scoober over.
Ottawa's having fun tonight on their offense. They are doing unconventional throws. They're scoobers and hammers and lefty backhands and they are thrashing through New York Empire's marks.
Yes, they are. And a lot of those throws are break throws.
Exactly. And again, as for those viewers at home, what a break throw is that as an ultimate player, you have something as the defense that's called a mark, who in theory takes away about 50% of the downfield, whose body is supposed to block off 50% of the field. So as your other players, the 7 other players you have on the field with your defense with you, know that they can only stand on that side, the side that you are leaving open. However, as Trisha was saying, if somebody breaks, meaning if they go through that mark, if they take away a part that you're supposed to take away as that one player, it's much harder for those 7 downfield players to mark that space. Right. So again, Ottawa is just really being creative and using fun throws to get around New York.
Yeah. So New York Empire back on offense. We have Alora with the disc. Jabron Meeser was streaking deep, but Alora looked him off. Alora with a nice upline cut. Now decides to put it up to Connor Klein, number 10. Ottawa swats it away. I believe that was Boucher. Another little scoober over the top, up to Cantel. Oh, and Laura with a great D, and he himself then slices a hammer up. Oh!
In the hands of Connor Klein. Can't come down with it that time with the one-handed hammer throw.
Yeah, the one-handed teapot catch.
It worked last time between the two of them.
It did. Just a little bit too much. Connor Klein was coming from the other side of the disc and was trying to catch its trailing edge, just touched it underneath.
That was Josh Alora's second block of the game with his great hand block there.
So Ottawa now has another chance here to score. We have Hunter with the disc, Brownlee on the mark. Swings it across. Boucher has it. Boucher has been an incredibly active player for Ottawa tonight. Really was, every other throw on a lot of these points. And Ottawa is missing Kinley G and Mike Lee. Ooh, big throw up, out into space. That is out to Eric Hunter for Ottawa. That makes it 17-16. New York Empire still up 17. But Ottawa is closing the gap. So very, very different from the last time that they matched up. Definitely a more even matchup for them tonight.
Yeah, and again, New York starting on offense there. New York having their offense out and Ottawa getting a turn. With New York's offense, again, then receiving and earning the turn back, earning the disc back with Josh Alora's hand block, not being able to communicate and execute, and then Ottawa taking that chance and grabbing the score.
Yeah. New York has to capitalize when they get those kinds of break opportunities or when they get those opportunities back to score.
Yeah.
They have to be able to capitalize on that if they want to take this game away from Ottawa. So again, for the New York Empire, we have a little bit of a different look for them on offense. We have Ryan Drost out there, Ben Katz. Ooh, big throw from Harper Garvey that just...
Ben Katz open, it just was not there.
Yeah,
the disc was just a little short.
Little short. Again, it's a humid night here, so the air is a little bit thicker. Garvey typically does not have an issue putting the disc out into space for his players. Boucher with the disc. Great defense from New York Empire. Forces Boucher to put up a big throw. Lots of defenders in the area.
Wow.
And
we have an injury.
We have an injury, but that was Ryan Drost going up in a crowd of people. Boucher putting up, a so-so pass. There were no opportunities for resets. There were 2 New York defenders down there,
and should be
then,
3.
Then there were 3 New York defenders and 3 Ottawa players there, and bit of, what sometimes we call an ultimate, like an emergency room pass.
Yeah, it was
because it's dangerous. There's all of those bodies colliding, and unfortunately, we do have a player down as a result of that play.
Before the throw, though, Tricia, it is important to note how tight and effective the New York Empire defense was before that. They were stopping the arounds. They had no other dumps or emergency looks, and so it kind of forced Ottawa to look for that emergency throw.
Yeah. So thankfully, the player is up and walking off the field underneath his own power, which is something that is definitely a good sign. He's limping a little bit, but glad to see that he's okay enough that he can be walking off because he was on the field for a little bit. So now Ottawa is going to make a substitution there, and I believe it is New York Empire with the disc because Ryan Drost did go up in that crowd of folks and bring it down one-handed with a spectacular defensive play by him.
New York having only 9 seconds. I shouldn't say only. 9 seconds is a long time, but we'll see what they can make of it.
Until the end of the quarter. 6, blading up over the top. Katz with 3 seconds left to go. Puts it up to Mike Drost, who puts it up with time. Let's see who can come down with it.
A Drost connection there. Ryan Drost with the bookends, achieving almost exactly what we saw there in his opposite end zone. It is his 5th block of the game. Again, Ryan Drost leading New York Empire with D's this season. This game, adding on to his lead.
What Ryan Drost was one of our players to watch of tonight, and he's putting on quite a show for us and all of you out there. So that was a New York Empire doing a great job of quickly moving up the disc. Mike Drost it was 3 seconds left to go, puts up a big throw, and Ryan Drost comes down with it with, again, what Amelia referred to as bookends. That's when you make the defensive play on one side, and then you come down and you catch the score on the other side.
It was quite lucky that disc floated for a little bit. It looked like it was intended for Meeser, who was a little bit farther away, but Meeser's defender was boxing him out, allowing him or not allowing him to make that movement towards the disc. And so Ryan had to make up for that and had the time with the little loft in the disc.
Yes, and Ryan with great positioning, coming at the disc and really attacking it, whereas the Ottawa Outlaw player was underneath the disc going up. So Ryan Drost had the momentum moving towards the disc to make an aggressive play. But again, just such great awareness, was able to make it safely and go up and get the disc and bring it down.
It should be noted for those viewing at home, the difference between the two sidelines right now. We have Ottawa in a huddle, focused, really looking as if they have, they're trying to excite, kind of start a fire. We have New York calm, collected, laughing, tossing the disc around with each other, already sending out their first 7 players. Mm-hmm. It seems a little bit, it's a dynamic shift. It looks like New York is confident and is having fun, and Ottawa looks as if they need to turn on that switch.
Yeah.
They need to find that gas.
When you have a player like Ryan Drost making spectacular plays on both sides of the disc, when he's your teammate, which he is my teammate on Exist in the New York club team, it fires you up. It fires you up, and you get excited, and you want to go out there and be a part of that excitement and make plays yourself. So, I will not be surprised to see the other New York Empire players stepping it up, feeding off of that, off of those great plays that Ryan just made on that last point. So New York Empire is up 18-16, and we've just entered the fourth quarter. Ooh, nice defensive play, but still brings it down. Ottawa still brings it down. New York Empire playing tight person defense right here. Ottawa finds a little bit of space out in front with an up-the-line cut. Resets the disc back over to Keenan. Keenan up to Wasso. And Wasso puts up an around backhand. TJ Stanton trying to get a layout D there. Can't quite make it there, and Ottawa gets a really smooth and quick score.
Yeah, we saw them earlier before the game essentially doing that, Trisha.
Yes.
Setting up their end zone, working on the swings. They started with that disc on the right side of the field, forcing the swing, a swing meaning moving from one side of that field to the other, calmly moving it from handlers to handlers, seeing that open cutter and throwing it there, making confident 100% decisions.
Yes. And I don't think there was one upside down throw.
Surprisingly, no upside down throws. It mustn't have been an upside down point for them.
Yeah, they've had their fill of upside down points, but so now we have New York's. It looks like their starting offensive line back out here, and it's still a close game, even though we saw different moods coming into this fourth quarter. It's still a really close game, so New York's going to have to step it up here. So we have Auletta with the disc over to Aloro. Aloro with space up to Meeser, tracks it down. Inside throw to Ben Katz. Ben Katz looking for the reset, commits over there. Aloro finds space and gets there. Continues the swing to Meeser.
Again, New York looking off those deep throws.
A couple of New York Empire players downfield calling for it. Lexi Zalk, one of them. Big reset over to Harper Garvey, losing about 10 yards. They can easily make that up. Up the line throw to Aloro. Inside backhand. Ooh, with a nice aired throw out to Garvey. Lexi Zalk with the disc. There are no deep cuts happening right now for the New York Empire. They seem to just be all clustered into the middle. What a nice inside throw from Harper Garvey up to Aloro. But we have a call on the field, and it's the penalty on New York. There was a pick called on the play, and the referee is going to signal that Harper Garvey needs to move back about 10 yards. The stall is coming in at 4. Garvey with the disc, quick reset to Aloro. Makes a precise inside-out throw. Auletta dumps it back. Again, we're not seeing any real downfield cuts.
Ottawa looks like they're having a poachy defense where New York is penalizing them for that.
Auletta throws Matt Cat Stevens open. He says, cut deep. I'm going to throw it there. You better go run it down and catch it. Sometimes that's what you need to get your offense going. It's just saying, I see space that is open.
Get there.
Get there. He had a couple yards on his player. He was already behind him. He says, I see that, and I'm going to put it there. So, score from Auletta. That is Auletta's
third assist. And Matt Cat Stevens' fourth goal. Matt Cat Stevens leading Empire in scores tonight.
That's great. He was one of them that when we spoke to assistant coach Isaiah Bryant before the game, we said, what are you going to do with Yacht, Bo, and Babbitt? You know, some of your 3 all-star names out there. And he said he wasn't worried. He said that Meeser and Lexi Zalk and Matt Cat Stevens were going to have to step up, and they have thus far. So we have Alexander putting a throw out into space, and a late defensive play from New York Empire. Ottawa Outlaw player down on the field. Had caught it, so it will be an Ottawa score. Unfortunately, the player is down, looking injured. So that point by Ottawa was, I think, 4 throws.
Yeah, it's smooth.
Nice, smooth offensive.
It looked like New York was doing a little poachy defense, and Ottawa was able to find poaching. Again, for those viewers at home, means that you leave your person rather than just guarding a person. You guard a space. Mm-hmm. And it looks like New York was trying to guard spacing, hopefully getting that D. And Ottawa was able to identify what person was left unguarded and was able to have accurate throws to get the disc there.
And Alexander, both of them, but Alexander is such a smooth thrower, has the full toolbox of throws and put it out there. And it looks like the New York defender just got a little bit caught up, ended up doing a little roll on the ground, and took the Ottawa Outlaw player out at the heels after he had already caught the disc. He just fell over and brought him down with him. So New York Empire is going to have a penalty
for that play.
Penalty for that dangerous play. And what that means is that you'll see the New York Empire's offensive line is starting at the back of their end zone, and the Ottawa Outlaws are starting at, let's see, that's 10 yards outside of their own end zone. So that's a big penalty. I know that the New York Empire player, it looked like a little bit of incidental contact, but wasn't able to control his body on that one, and the New York Empire is going to have to take that penalty and see what they can do with it. Thus far, I've already moved up to the 20. Meeser with the disc.
Everyone's streaking deep there.
Brownlee and Klein both streaking deep. Resets over to Garvey. Garvey looking for options. Doesn't see too many. They end up back in the middle of their own end zone. Aloro up to Garvey. Brownlee streaking deep again. Garvey decides to reset Aloro. Back to Garvey. And Garvey now shoots it deep up to Meeser, who has plenty of space on his defender. New York Empire players running to catch up. Does a quick dish up to Matt Cat Stevens, then to Brownlee, who puts a nice inside-out throw. Ooh,
to both, it looked like Connor Klein and Meeser wanted that disc there, and a little bit of miscommunication, not calling one or the other off the disc, and had a little bobble and a drop.
Yep, one of them had caught it but then dropped it. So a big throw up. Ooh, a big defensive play by Marquez Brownlee.
His second block of the game and a clean D as well.
It was a clean D.
Harper calling the offense to come back to the disc. Offense spreading quite deep this game.
Finds the inside break throw up to Meeser. Once again, a lot of New York Empire players streaking deep. Isaac looking for his options. And the New York Empire is just looking a little stagnant, so they're trying to find those insides. Aloro got the disc and puts up a big around backhand to Brownlee, who gets the bookends.
Again, bookends meaning he gets both the goal and the block.
He got the block first and then ran down the field to get the score.
This is Josh Aloro's second assist of the game and Marquez Brownlee's fourth goal. Again, now he's tied for leading scorers with Cat Stevens.
Yep. So there were a couple of tight throws, a little bit of a stagnant offense for New York Empire, but they were able to stay calm and cool and then really see that Brownlee had a lot of space there on his defender and make a more aggressive throw. Amelia, this was exactly what you were talking about. The New York Empire was playing a little bit too conservative, and it seems like now they've been taking more of those shots.
Yeah, and quite frankly, at the end of the game, at the fourth quarter, the offense is going to be tired. We've been trading points, which is something the Empire hasn't really seen recently, especially against Ottawa.
Yes.
And so the offense is a little tired. And when you're tired, you're kind of making not as many cuts down and under, and you want the game to just kind of be over and the point to be over, so you're cutting deep.
Yeah, but New York doing a great job trying to keep it chilly there. Ottawa with the disc. Alexander streaking deep. 2 New York defenders there. And I believe that is
Ben. It looks like Ben Spielman, or was that?
I believe that was Ben Spielman. Yes, it was Ben Spielman with the great defensive play in the end zone to stop the goal, putting New York Empire back on offense.
That's
Mike Drost with the disc.
Ben Spielman's third block of the game. He's really come out for a second game with the Empire. That's some powerful block.
Ben Spielman now streaking deep, disc hanging, but Ben has plenty of space to run under it. Ryan Holmes quickly getting down there. Ryan Drost
with the goal.
With the goal.
Ryan Drost's third goal of the game. Ben Spielman's first assist.
What a great throw by Ben Spielman, putting it out into space, knowing and trusting that Ryan Drost was going to run and track that down. Drost with such great body awareness, keeping his feet in bounds, and his defender was on his back, and he was able to just go and scoop it under and stay in bounds there.
Doing a little forward roll, showing his gymnastic skills, throwing the disc up in the air and having a fancy catch.
I don't think you've ever studied gymnastics formally.
Are you sure? I don't know that forward roll looks pretty good.
I would love to know that. I would love to know if that was a fun fact about the Drost brothers.
That's a great. Also, shout out to Ben Spielman for really getting separation from his defender there. He was absolutely wide open.
Yes. And he got the defensive play, so it wasn't quite bookends, but
an assist is not bad. I can settle with a block and assist on a point.
So that puts New York Empire up 21-18 over Ottawa with 6 minutes and 24 seconds left to go. Ottawa with the disc, having some trouble right now, trying to find open players. New York Empire really feeling fired up. Ottawa sticking to their sideline again, having trouble finding resets. The crowd is going crazy here. Whoa!
A great D by TJ Stanton. He finally gets one of those layout blocks. He's been hitting the ground a lot tonight.
Yes, he has.
Having that hard on defense. I'm glad to see that he's connected on one.
I don't think that he actually touched the disc, but sometimes that intimidation on the player can be just enough.
They call it intimidee. The kids nowadays.
The kids. Mike Drost with a disc. High release backhand to TJ Stanton. Up back to Mike Drost, who puts it to his brother, Ryan Drost.
Ryan Drost with his fourth goal of the game. Mike Drost with his second assist. Again, it's important to note, too, that once those Empire players, they get those Ds, they fire it up and they make sure that they are an impact player on that offensive turn.
Yes, definitely. And so that, let's see, that ties Ryan Drost for most goals with Marquez Brownlee and Matt Cat Stevens at 4 goals this game out of the 22 points. So New York Empire up 22 over Ottawa 18. A comfortable 4-point lead, but 5 minutes and 30 seconds is still enough game. Ottawa has, on offense, they have really made some quick scores when they've been on offense. New York coming down fast on this pull. Looks like they're playing a little bit of a poachy defensive set here, with Ben Katz out in the lane. But now they're recovering and going back to person defense. Ooh, a high backhand. But 27 brings it down. Centers back over to 17. They were having a little bit of trouble there. Alexander with a hammer. Easy score.
At what point does that become their textbook play? It looks like Ottawa's...
Is that their signature move?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's working for them. The wind is quite low here, and they've had an open space. A hammer, again, opens up the field more. You don't have to throw just to that 50 or 60% that the mark is allowing you to throw to.
Right. So that brings Ottawa Outlaws within 3 of the New York Empire, 22-19, with just under 5 minutes left to go. And as I was just saying, Ottawa has been scoring quickly when they've had the disc, so 5 minutes is still a lot of time. We have New York Empire's starting offensive line back out here. They themselves are going to look for a quick score.
Yeah.
You know?
They are all wearing their new black Empire socks that look quite fresh.
They have a lot of cool swag, which if you come to a New York Empire game, you can get it yourself from the merchandise booth.
I'm quite a fan of the hat.
The hat is very sweet. So a short pull from Ottawa, so New York Empire will receive it 25 yards outside of their goal line, giving New York quite the advantage. Quick break throw to Harper Garvey. Harper Garvey looking for his downfield options, opts for the reset over to Auletta.
Isaac wanting that disc very badly, with the person now on him closing quickly.
Isaac going up with a nice aggressive catch.
And the foul call there.
Yes, a foul called on O'Brien of Ottawa. Isaac trying to keep the play moving. Oh, bit of a miscommunication. Thought Harper Garvey was going up line. Harper Garvey just making the fake there, and Cat Stevens and Connor Klein were not able to bring that down. So Ottawa with a chance here to break. Boucher with the disc on the sideline unleashes a big backhand to Mensah. Oh, and Auletta gets a hand in there on Mensah. Let's see. The foul was on Auletta, and the referee is calling that Mensah had gotten possession, and so it is a goal for Ottawa.
I know I'm not the most unbiased person, and I will say that up front before I say my next few words. But I think that might have been a little bit of a questionable call. I don't know if the Ottawa player had stopped rotation of that disc.
You know, watching the replay right now, I think he might have, but I think both players did have a hand on it at the same time. We'll have to go back and rewatch it and see. So, again, tonight we have no Yacht, Bo, or Babbitt. I know that Babbitt hurt his ankle a couple weeks ago and then re-injured it last week playing DC, but we are unsure why Yacht and Bo, what their specific injuries are.
They are here tonight, though.
They are here tonight
was here
supporting their teammates. So Ottawa back within 2. Harper Garvey with the disc on offense. Up to Cats. Cats with a nice inside-out throw to Jabron Meeser. Meeser looking for options, opts to reset over to Garvey. Aloro with lots of space in front of him, but no cutters cutting. Puts it out to Garvey.
Isaac is quite poached.
Isaac wide open. This time, that throw had a little bit more speed on, and he was able to close before his defender got there. Stevens back to Garvey, back to Isaac, back to Garvey. These quick movements are what the New York Empire offense needs to keep Ottawa on its toes. Throw inside, Meeser to Katz.
That's Meeser's second assist of the game, Ben Katz's second score.
Meeser had a lot of room in front of him. They swung it back and forth, and then he got it back on that sideline, still with a lot of room, and put it just out of the Ottawa defender's reach, but with enough nice space for Ben Katz to just run underneath it, who made a really nice horizontal cut to the back cone of the end zone.
That's just first few steps right there from Ben Katz. His defender knew what he wanted, and
yes,
Ben Katz still took it.
Well, and not downplaying
the throw, of
not
course.
Downplaying the throw from Meeser, putting it out to the sideline, seeing that Katz had a couple of steps on his defender, and was able to just run it down. So New York Empire up 3 on Ottawa Outlaws with 3 minutes left in the game. Ottawa is going to want some quick scores here if they're going to come back. Ryan Holmes with a run through D.
Holmes.
It seems like he was baiting that.
I was just going to say that. You could tell that he wanted it there.
You could tell he wanted it. He started behind his defender and switched into the next gear. Ryan Drost with the disc. Pumps off, looks off his brother, Mike Drost. Puts it up on the sideline. He's looking for the reset. Finds Lamar in the center of the field, who goes inside to Mike Drost. Mike Drost, patient, does a little scuba up over the top. And I believe that's to Waylett. Yeah, that's
Waylett's second goal of the night.
That is Mike Drost. Let's see, how many assists does Mike Drost have? Mike
3.
Drost now has 3 assists in that game, in this game. Was looking for an inside throw and then opted for a little scooper over the top, which, as we explained earlier, is a break throw, and went right up over his person, and nice, easy score and that's a break for the New York Empire after a fantastic defensive play by Ryan Holmes, who, really, I think he baited that throw and knew he had another gear and was able to run through and just make a nice play to give Empire the disc. Again,
in the New York Empire, they have 11 different players throwing assists and 10 different players catching goals here tonight. So that is
wow.
Diversifying your portfolio there.
Love a good diversified portfolio.
Oh, I love that.
Ottawa again needs to score quickly. Empire is up 4 with 2 minutes left in the game. Ottawa at half field goes for an upline cut. Not a lot of movement from Ottawa downfield. Pretty much sticking to that same third. I wonder if we'll see an over-the-top throw soon.
Yeah,
yep,
here we
I
go.
think I called for it. There's Alexander with the disc. Again, another hammer up and over outside of the end zone, and Ryan Drost just couldn't get there. Has had enough blocks. Has had enough blocks for tonight.
Again, that's a great example, Tricia, about how deadly a breakthrow like that is to the defense.
Yes.
That hammer throw, being able to get that hammer throw off, completely opened up that other side of the field for Ottawa. Ottawa was able to then quickly have another it's hammer to hammer, so they were able to open it up, throw that to their downfield player, who then had an unguarded player. Ryan Ross was on the correct, quote unquote, correct side of his man. His player, but again, because of that breakthrow, he was unable to make a play on the disc.
Exactly, and that allowed the Ottawa player to just throw a flat backhand for the score after
an easy score after two hammer throws.
One little hammer and then one larger hammer to give them a lot of space. So that brings them to 21-20 24, New York Empire still up with 1 minute 35 seconds left in the game. So I know New York is probably going to want to take their time here, try to run the clock out a little bit. Jabron Meeser with a diving catch to save it. Disc just dying a little bit. Miscommunication. There was a good double team from Ottawa there, forcing him to put it up over the top. Unsure if he was able to even really see where his other cutters were. Ottawa with the disc with just over 1 minute left to go. New York playing putting great defensive pressure on right now, making them have to throw a lot of throws when what Ottawa wants is quick throws. They need 3 more scores, and there's 57.9 seconds left on the clock.
It also should be noted, it's quite funny to see that when a team makes you have your marks high. You can see Connor Klein here on his D had quite high arms. Again,
yes,
anticipating them breaking through a scuba or a hammer.
I mean, when they've been throwing that all night, it would be unwise of the New York defenders to not put their hands up there and allow those throws to go up and over.
Ottawa will have to begrudgingly take the flick throw there as opposed to the hammer throw.
Ottawa calling a timeout there. That Ottawa has used both of their timeouts in this second quarter. In the second half. Definitely, the two huddles are going to be very different right now. New York Empire getting fired up because they are 1 minute away from their second win over the Ottawa Outlaws. And Ottawa saying, what I'm assuming that they're saying, because of course we're not in there, if only we had a hot mic.
Yeah.
One of the players mic'd up.
One. Yeah, we'll have to slip one to the ref next time.
Yeah, next time have one of the players mic'd up for the game. Very likely that they, as I mentioned, they need 3 more scores in 1 minute. So they're going to be looking for some quick throws here. They're setting up in a vertical stack with one reset on the break side.
Oh, a nice switch there by New York Empire.
Forcing a blading throw up over the top. And
Ben Cass with that D. His second D of the night. An important D, to say the least.
That is probably the most crucial defensive play right now. Ryan Drost in the back with the reset. 37 seconds. All New York Empire needs to do is run this clock out for 30 seconds. It's Drost to Drost. Ryan Drost to Mike Drost. Back to Ryan Drost, who has it.
Throwing to the third Drost, Matt Lamar.
They're very close and have played together for quite a long time. Hammer throw over the top. Again, New York Empire is just running out the clock. Ryan Drost with the disc with 13 seconds left. This game is over, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Drost getting double teamed with 6 seconds. 4, 3, and the stall is 7 seconds. So that's the end of the game. New York Empire coming away with the win, 24-21 over the Ottawa Outlaws. Definitely a much closer game than the last time that they matched up, but New York really showing their deep roster. They're very diversified roster.
Diversified portfolio, both in assists, goals, and blocks. Again, we want to take this time right now to quickly thank our sponsors again: Discraft, Chubb Insurance, Matchfish Performance, Rye Ford Subaru, and of course, the Ice Cold Drummers.
And thank you all for watching the live feed of the New York Empire Ottawa Outlaws game. We strongly suggest that you make it out to New Rochelle and come and see some of the games. New York Empire has 2 more home games, but next week they are on the road. So yeah, what a really great, fantastic game. Amelia, what would you say was the story of this game?
Again, I think it was much tighter than I thought it was going to be. I think it was calm offense from New York, and Ottawa just did not convert. What do you think, Tricia?
I would definitely agree with that. It seems like New York Empire, they went into the second half tied and came out firing. Ryan Drost making some spectacular plays, firing his team up. Ben Spielman then getting some fantastic blocks and throwing assists. Ryan Holmes with that run through D. I mean, and these are just only a few of the fantastic defensive plays. New York Empire is known for their defense. Defense wins games, and their offense had a little trouble at the beginning, but really found their footing. So thank you all for watching the live stream of the New York Empire Ottawa Outlaws game. And this is Trisha Sardo.
This is Amelia Murphy.
And we're signing off from New Rochelle, New York. Have a great night.